Okay, so I started doing some analysis when I wanted to find out the question, are Colorado schools failing worse than we think? And what I did is I went into the CMAS data for 2022, so spring of 2022, and I asked the question, hey, what percent of students are exceeding or meeting grade level expectations in these schools? And we need to kind of set some barometers of what we would expect, kind of based off of what we're told, and kind of where the school actually is what the actual data tells us. So, my expectation was not that we would have 100% of students, but definitely not 50% of students would be meeting or exceeding grade level expectations at any given school. So you would have this expectation, and I didn't know how to do it. So I just said, hey, what if we simply use the same grade scale for schools that they use on our kids? And that's where I was like, okay, so if we assign an A school is a 90 to 100%, a B school is an 80 to a 90%, a C school is 70 to 80, D 60 to 70, and F is anything less than a 60%, I think we're, in the realm of academic discussion, at least. So, and I was like, hey, I kind of want to map out what I would expect that to look like, because not every school is going to be an A school, a B school, or a C school. But you really would expect the bulk of schools if we have a truly good educational system. Like, and this is good. I mean, honestly, getting above 80% of your students, you just would think intuitively, if they're in grade, they should be at the end of like by the spring semester when they're getting tested, they should know all their grade level stuff for the most part. Like 80%, you would think that that's reasonable. But this is kind of what I said. I was like, it's not going to be a bell curve because that'd be right at 50, 50 to 60. But I felt this was reasonable. So I said, hey, an A school, a B school, a C school, anything else is going to be a D or an F. We're just going to keep that in mind. And then I graphed all of the schools, elementary schools in Colorado, and where they stood on CMAS as far as percent of students that meet or exceed expectations. You want to know how many schools had a 90% of students? Two. You want to know how many had better than 80%, including those two? 11. So there's nine more schools tacked on there. You want to know how many schools that actually got above a 70 average score for their school? It's probably right around 30 to 40, depending on whether you're counting English or math scores. That out of 1,500 schools, you're looking at a total of maybe 40 or 50 schools that are this ABC category here. I just think that's atrocious. I could be wrong. Maybe I looked at the data wrong. So here's links to data used in this presentation. The presentation itself is available for you to view. The CMAS source data is available for you to get straight from CMAS, and then you can throw it into your own database analytics, and then sorted data on a Google Sheet as well for you if you want to take your phone out, pause this, and kind of look through it. I will real quick show you how I went through my data. I went and I grabbed all the data and I just dumped it into everything. And that kind of district rankings. Here I wanted to see how good the districts are doing, what the best districts are. Cheyenne Mountain, best district. School results individually went through everything. So this is the main data dump. And then I did an all school rankings. That is also where you will see how everything is mapped generically over here based off of this data that I used to aggregate what schools were within certain rankings. Cherry Creek, I was like, hey, what about one of the best known schools? How are they doing? They suck. They don't have a single one over 90, but pretty much every school district sucks. There's one in DPS and one in Jeffco that has 90% of their students in elementary school that are averaging over this. You have kind of a weird shaped bell curve here with their schools. I went to DPS. DPS, you want to, excuse me, you wouldn't expect much out of. Jeffco looks a little bit better than DPS. Does have some schools here, and just kind of went through and then put all the graphs here so you can look at it real quick in the data. And then top 10%, hey, top 10% of schools relative to the other schools. Um, you're just kind of looking at the percent of schools in both top percent English and math in the district. So Denver has 10.1. The best district is Cheyenne with 71. But once again, there are there are not any schools where 90% of the students are meeting or exceeding district expectations for math and English. Just very shocking. Best schools, and just some questions that I was thinking of here. So, information for you to think about, to start asking questions about. Please, I would love for somebody to prove my data wrong, that I analyzed this completely incorrectly. If you can say I did that from a quantitative standpoint, I'll retract everything, or I'll redo another video to make it better. But yeah, this is absolutely abysmal. If you're looking at truly having a good public education system.